Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, I'm gonna share with you guys a challenge that I did for myself for the month of January. I know I'm a little bit late with uploading this video. It's March now, and at the beginning of this year, I decided for 2021, I was going to do a challenge every month, whether it's related to health or fitness, just some sort of challenge that I do so I could change my routine a little bit or motivate myself a little bit. So this was decided literally maybe like the last day of 2020 for me to do this. And for the month of January, I decided let's take it easy. And I was looking over YouTube and I saw Chloe Ting. Her challenge was walking 15,000 steps every single day. Now, I wasn't going to go that far, so I'm like, you know what? Let me start by something a little bit more doable for me since I've never done a challenge like this before, and walk 10,000 steps every single day for an entire month. So that's what I did for the month of January. I documented everything. I weighed myself, which I'll share with you guys. I measured myself, and I vlogged walking 10,000 steps every single day. And I just wanted to see, how my body will change, what it does to my body. Do I lose weight? Do I gain weight? Do I stay the same? Surprisingly, the results are surprising. Let me share with you guys how it all went. All right, so I have a bunch of notes here because this was like 30 days worth of documenting, and I want to give you guys all the info. All right, so to give you guys an idea of my weight, height, all of that good stuff, I am 5'7", 5'7 and a half. And at the time of this challenge, I weighed 150. Just to start off right there, I'm usually around 152 to 154. That was my weight the past few months. So I don't know why that day I was at 150 when I weighed myself. So that was like already kind of like a cheat start, if you will, because usually my weight has been 152 to 154. My goal weight is to be 140, I think, for my height. It used to be 135, but I think I'd be too skinny at that point and also be a little too hard. So I'll be really happy if I reach 140. And I've been trying to lose these last 10 pounds for almost 2 years now. And those are really the hardest to lose. So I'm trying to do these different challenges this year to see, what works best for me to lose those last 10 pounds. But as it's been the past few months, my happy weight, my body that it likes to stay at, was 152 to 154. Goal weight is 140. When I started this challenge, I was at 150.4. I measured myself as well because I know sometimes the scale can lie. So to find a better way if your body is changing is by measuring yourself or by how your clothes fit you. So I'm gonna include right here of how my body looked like before, and as well as me measuring the different types of places of my body. So I measured my upper thigh, which was 23.25 inches. Lower thigh was 18.5 inches. And then the lower part of my leg, right in the middle, that was 14 inches. My waist was between 26 to 26.25 inches. And my lower hips was 41.5 inches. And I was like, you know what? Let me just measure my arms. I don't know if my arms are gonna do any difference since it's all like walking, but walking just, you burn calorie everywhere anyway. But arms was 11.5 inches. So that was my weight and that was my measurements at the beginning of this challenge. Also, I should say a few things that I was trying to accomplish other than the fact to obviously try to lose some weight is get moving. I mean, I've been at home most of the time. I would just say I feel like my body was like, like I wanted to move around more and just be more active, especially since my day-to-day was just, being in front of a computer. I wanted to tone up. I wanted to just feel more energized and see if it helps my cellulite in any way as well, because they do say, when you walk, it helps with cellulite. So those were like some of the things that I wanted to just accomplish from doing this challenge. So day one, it was definitely a challenge. It took me about an hour and 45 minutes to try to get my 10,000 steps in. I stayed in the treadmill that entire time, and I was really sore and bored. I would say the first few days were the toughest days. It definitely gets easier after that. Day 2, I missed it. I wasn't starting off strong. So day 3, I was like, you know what? Since I missed day 2, I'm gonna have to do 15,000 steps the next day 3. That was so tough. I don't know how Chloe Ting did 15,000 steps every single day for 30 days. I think at day 2, I reached like at 13,000 or 11,000, and I'm like, I physically cannot walk any longer. So that was that. But then I promised myself I would never miss another day because I didn't want to put myself through that again. By the way, I was using an Apple Watch to track my steps. There's an activity app in the Apple Watch that's already comes included that tracks your steps. So I'll show you guys, week by week, how many steps I did each day. I did take Sundays off. You could walk every single day. That's fine. I think 10,000 steps every single day is a bit much. So I took Sunday to rest. That was my first week pretty much. I was very sore and I got very bored very quickly. I was trying to switch it around and do like maybe some elliptical, walk around the gym. It was just getting really boring, and I feel like it was taking forever to try to get the 10,000 steps in. But it wasn't too bad. It wasn't terrible. I was trying to keep myself entertained somehow, and instead of just walking in the treadmill, I was trying to switch it up and change the incline, change the speed, do a higher incline, lower speed, faster speed, slower incline, switch between the elliptical. I did go to the bike at some point, and I realized it wasn't counting towards my steps. So I'm like, you know what? Let's get off the bike. I need every little energy I'm doing right now to count towards my 10,000 steps. So if you try to do it and you're on a bicycle, it's not gonna count towards your 10,000 steps. I dragged my brother on day 5 and we did a competition together, so that helped. Right away, by the first week, I did realize that my typical day-to-day routine, I was getting barely any steps in for the first 10 hours probably of my day, which was horrible. You guys will see by like 6-7 p.m. I was barely at 1,000 steps, which is disgusting because the average human walks between 3,000 to 4,000 steps a day. And with my job being on the computer all the time, especially now that we're stuck at home all the time, I kind of felt it that I was like not really moving as much. So by doing that challenge, it showed me that I'm really not getting those steps, even the bare minimum steps in. That was my first week. I will say, even though I was taking Sundays off, if I did end up missing a day in the week for whatever reason, because of work or travel or whatever the case is, I ended up making it up on Sunday. So I made sure that I was getting my 10,000 steps in at least 6 times in that week. By the end of week 1, I weighed myself and I was at 151.4. So I went up 1.5 pounds. Now, mind you, let's talk about my diet a little bit. I was eating whatever the hell I wanted. Let's be honest, I wasn't really paying attention. I wasn't pigging out like crazy, but I definitely ate whatever I felt like eating, and I indulged in that. So starting the second week, I was bored from the treadmill. I'm like, I don't think I can do this for the entire month. So I started switching my walks outside, and I actually loved that. I realized that my walks, my 10,000 steps started reaching faster. I don't know if it's because I was just enjoying nature and I was out. Time passed by faster for some reason, and I felt like I was getting to my 10,000 steps sooner. I started getting into this habit of putting, my AirPods on, listening to a podcast or some nice music, or putting a YouTube video and just walking around my neighborhood and getting my 10,000 steps in. in. So that's actually how I ended up getting most of my steps in for most of the days, going outside and getting my steps out rather than just being in a position in the treadmill. I also went to the mall. I went to the mall and shopped around and just walked around, and it helped getting my 10,000 steps that way. Whenever I was going somewhere, I tried to park my car a little bit further so I can also help and get more of my steps in. That way I don't have to have like 9,000 steps by the end of the day that I have to make up. I was able to get more of my steps, throughout my day. So by the second week, my weight was 152.4. So I gained another pound. Even though I was doing my 10,000 steps in, I gained another pound. Now, like I mentioned earlier, I already started off wrong. I don't know why my scale said 150 at the beginning of this, because technically I should have been at 152. But nonetheless, maybe I did lose weight and I was at 150 at that point. I don't know. But by the second week, I continued to gain weight. So now I was like, okay, I need to switch things up a little bit because I just continued to be gaining weight. So I was like, for the third week and for the fourth week, let me include intermittent fasting with that. So starting third week, I actually was in Hawaii. That was beautiful, and I got to finish most of my month in Hawaii. And you already know, if I'm in Hawaii, I'm gonna enjoy nature and get my 10,000 steps outside. Hi guys, so it is January 19th. I'm doing my 10,000 steps of the day, and I am in beautiful Maui. How lucky that I get to walk 10,000 steps in Maui. This is the view behind me. I've been here a few days, and let me tell you, it feels amazing getting my 10,000 steps in here, and it feels like I'm getting it faster because just the nature of this state, you feel like you just want to walk and enjoy nature. So I'm gonna be here till the end of the month, getting my 10,000 steps in. We're going strong. I'm right now almost at 4,000 steps. So when I did my intermittent fasting, that's all I did. I did 8 hours of eating, 16 hours of not eating. But in that 8 hours of eating, I ate whatever I wanted. Now again, I didn't eat a lot, but I didn't also count my calories or try to eat, moderate. I just ate whatever I wanted, but I did only do it in that 8-hour gap. But I went out to restaurants, whatever I was craving I had. So I wasn't overdoing it or trying to limit certain calories or anything like that. So far, I've done intermittent fasting for a week, and I've been walking 10,000 steps every single day for the past 3 weeks, and I gained 2 pounds from my starting weight. Now let's move on to the fourth and final week of this challenge. And I did my 10,000 steps again and did another intermittent fasting again. Nothing has changed from week 3 on that. And I weighed myself again. My weight was 153 pounds, 153.2. So I gained another pound on my last week of this challenge. I also measured myself so I can see if I lost any inches or anything like that. And I'm also going to include a side-by-side of how my body looked at the beginning and how it looks at the end. I haven't even looked at them side by side, so I'll be seeing it for the first time with you guys. To talk about my measurements did change a little bit. So even though I technically gained weight on the scale, about 2 pounds or 3 pounds, my measurements, my thighs were 23.05. So I lost 0.20 inches on my upper thigh. My lower thigh was 18.25 inches, so I lost 0.25 inches. My lower part of my leg stayed the same, 14 inches. My waist shrinked a tad bit, or kind of stayed the same. It was 26 inches. My lower hips got bigger. So I was 41.75, and this could be that I was maybe a little bit off in my measurements, but typically when I gain weight, for some reason it all goes to my hips, my butt, and my thighs. And my arms, for some weird reason, I actually lost half an inch. My arm was 11 inches versus 11.5 inches when I first started. Here are the side-by-side photos. I want you guys to see side-by-side of how I look. I haven't even looked at these. I'm going to be looking at them with you guys at the first time. This is how my body looked in the before and after. Does my body look different? What do you guys think? Does it look the same? So the conclusion of all of this is, if you're not cutting your food intake and you're just eating the same whatever you want, and you're getting some exercise in, even if it was 10,000 steps a day, you're not going to lose weight. However, I do think that for how I was eating so freely and didn't really limit myself, by doing the 10,000 steps, I didn't gain as much weight. I could have easily gained at least 5 pounds, but I didn't gain as much weight because I was being active and doing those 10,000 steps. But more importantly, other than, the scale, the number on the scale, is I felt good. I felt really good about myself that I was getting those 10,000 steps in. I felt more energized. I just wanted to move around more. I was being more active. My day was better. My day felt more productive. And I just feel like it made me stronger. And I love that it felt more tightened. When I was just not doing those steps, everything felt loose, if you know what I mean. I didn't feel strong. I felt like my cellulite was adding up, and it was just everything was wiggly, right? Especially my thigh areas. So when I started doing those 10,000 steps, I feel like things just tightened up more. My cellulite obviously didn't go away. I think it's going to take much longer than that. And I think there's hormones and other aspects of that, which this is for another video. I'm actually going to try some different weird treatments to try to get rid of cellulite. So I'll be sharing that with you guys later down the road. But I could tell you I felt like everything gotten tightened more versus loose. So I really liked that feeling. So that was my experience with this challenge. I'm really happy I did it. I'm bummed that I didn't lose weight. I thought I would, but it makes sense. It's really, if you had to weigh it out, diet weighs more than working out. So you could work out as much as you want, but if you don't cut down the calories, if you're trying to lose weight, you're not gonna lose weight. But overall, I did really feel good about myself, and it kept me going. So now we are in March, and I kept with my 10,000 steps, not every single day, but I did do it in February. And that just motivated me to stay active and remind myself that you have to get much more steps than what you've been getting all these months just being in front of a computer and being at home. Now stay tuned for the next video, because for the month of February, I actually switched things around and I did intermittent fasting for the entire month, where I was a little bit more mindful of what I was eating and didn't really work out as much as I had done in January. And I vlogged all of it for you guys, and I can't wait to share the results of that. So stay tuned for that video. I documented the entire thing, and I'm gonna be doing these fun, different challenges for myself to make it, a little bit more entertaining, not so boring, and just trying different things to see what works best to lose those 10 pounds that I've been wanting to lose. So stay tuned for that. Make sure you guys are subscribed if you are new here, and hit that bell button so you get notified of upcoming videos. And that is it for today. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.